Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This film is rated M for mature themes, coarse language and sexual references. As A24 is my favourite entertainment company and they've very rarely disappointed me with the films of theirs that I've seen, the high praise that this film has received over the last 4 or so months has been exceptional. So this is Kia's Reviews and this is my review of Aftersun.
Why don't you go over and introduce yourself?
Dad, no, they're like kids.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you go over and introduce yourself?
Sophie, they're like old.
Aftersun is such an emotionally mature film that captures and touches on some extremely heavy themes without even having to make it a big part of a story arc, and even leaving some of these themes ambiguous, especially when it comes to its conclusion. This film reminded me of a less intense version of the Florida Project, and while they are both phenomenal A24 projects, it does enough to make you think about it long after it finishes, being a real spark for deep and meaningful conversations with anybody, whether it be the person you saw it with, a family member, or even a friend of yours. It also felt like it borrowed some of the gripping elements from Gifted in terms of how fragile and emotionally intriguing the relationship between Calum, the father, and Sophie, the daughter, really is. It's significantly moving and arresting at the points where you don't feel as if you'll feel that way towards the movie or its characters, but unknowingly the strong attachment that you form to these two characters is so profound that it makes the final half hour so overwhelming. It got me to the point where I was crying so much that I was heaving and didn't stop throughout the entire credits. I haven't cried like that in years.
Good. Well done.
So what's your sister's name?
Sophie.
Oh, nice.
I'm her dad though, actually.
Sorry, mate, I just thought
That's okay.
Aftersun focuses on the captured innocence of navigating two worlds in which both aren't stable, yet are forced to uphold their appearances for the sake of their daughter, in order to prevent any shift in happiness or the concealment of their childhood innocence. Piecing together the complexities that come with adulthood centralizes the growth in Frankie Corio's character Sophie as she ventures through many mature events that children her age wouldn't normally deal with. The home videos filmed through the family's video camera encapsulates the familial themes of innocence as we follow the memories being made in the current time, representing Sophie's happiness as well as her honest outlook on the world she is presented with. Getting her raw views through these home videos is sweet as it gives the audience a truly young perspective on the world that a parent provides their child at a young age. The fragility of memories in this plot is never really accentuated or focused on as a point for the audience to pick up on with an obvious indication, yet still dwells as a theme within the viewer's mind, which is something that never seems to be common within movie watching experiences nowadays.
Who's your new teacher?
Miss Mescal.
Aye, the one from Glasgow.
How did you know that?
She's pretty. She's the pretty one from Glasgow. She's stuck in my head.
Oh my god, Dad, stop!
Okay.
Stop.
Developing himself as a father that tries to do everything that he can to please his daughter in the absence of having those joys when he was her age, Calum always seeks to make his daughter's life as fun and enjoyable as he can possibly make it, the only goal that's truly set in stone within his mind as he tries to overcome the shortcomings of his own parents. He fights to make her happy through his own personal battle of depression, which he consistently struggles with throughout the film, whether it be subtly suggested or explicitly shown. The more I think about Aftersun and what it hides within its story and plot developments, the more I really appreciate it, and even though the first watch is devastatingly emotional, realizing how your view of watching this film would change upon a second viewing makes it even more compelling and enriches the first time that you saw it more than you originally would have thought. Given that I don't want to spoil anything, the experience that you get with this story will change every time you watch it, and that's why I value this film so highly, because it can be perceived in many different ways, and that's why it's so brilliant and resonant with its audience.
I just feel a bit down or something.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Don't you ever feel like you've just done a whole amazing day and then you come home and feel tired and down and feels like your bones don't work, they're just tired and everything is tired?
The tonal shift an hour into the film is where it completely begins to eat away at your heart. The first hour is incredibly sweet and enjoyable, and honestly a real joy to sit through as you watch Calum and Sophie bond and spend a vacation together. Even though it's not a movie where things go wrong unexpectedly or goes down any negative tropes of most family dramas, Aftersun finds a unique way of making its characters relatable even if you've never gone through the events and instances that Sophie or Calum go through. You find that the minimal dialogue gains its own focus as well, as it isn't a dialogue-heavy movie. Whenever the dialogue is utilised as a tool to include its audience, the majority of that focus given to the film results in a very meaningful reflection of their own lives. There's scenes where the dialogue really accentuates the meaning in words and how powerful they can be. I think that's why the final half hour is as impactful as it is, because the tonal shift of being happy to dealing with the theme of depression and struggling is revealed unexpectedly and shocks its viewers. The reputation of Aftersun is that it's distinctly moving, and it certainly delivers, but you never know when exactly that emotion will arise.
You got me. Alright, smart eyes. Attention.
What Charlotte Wells does so well with her directorial debut is how many hints there are that you never pick up on, especially on the first watch. Knowing what you know at the film's conclusion leaves you completely dumbfounded as to how easily and simply you disregarded key developmental points for these characters. That's what will make my second viewing even better, because I know how this story plays out now, and I'll be able to realise and recognise the signs of its conclusion much earlier on. Reflecting on how this movie engages you is what makes me think higher of it every time I think about it. The more I focus on the underlying themes makes me really understand just why this is such an important movie to see. It teaches you as an audience member a very important lesson about supporting one another. It also tackles the heartfelt concept of getting second chances and the vulnerability of being able to get one or not. Again, I'd love to expand on my thoughts here, but it would most definitely lend itself to deep spoilers, which I do not intend to reveal. Paul Mescal and Frankie Corio also share such a special and memorable chemistry that is undeniably sweet and kind-hearted.
You can live wherever you want to live. Be whoever you want to be. You have time.
Aftersun is one of those rare movies that really make you think about it afterwards and stays with you enough to spark conversations that will mean something, as well as applying the film's themes to real-life situations. Not only does its emotional reputation live up to its praise, but it also gives Paul Mescal and Frankie Corio the freedom to perform such a deeply personal story in a way that I've very rarely invested myself so much into. A24 really is giving 2023 all they have, as every project of theirs so far this year has been phenomenal, but for Charlotte Wells to have this as her first directorial feature film is immensely impressive, and she's certainly a director that I'll look out for whenever she makes her next projects. You really can't prepare yourself for how emotionally shocking and overpowering this ends up being, but if I could give you a tip before seeing it, it would be that you should stay oblivious to everything about it, so no trailers, no plot summaries, nothing. If you go in knowing nothing, then this experience will be incredibly transcendent for you. As I said before, I haven't cried this hard in years. This film single-handedly restores my faith in the existence of original stories in Hollywood. Aftersun is such a special and brilliant film that is bound to improve upon every repeat viewing, so I'll give Aftersun a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching. Are you going to see Aftersun? Let me know below. As always, be sure to have a look at my previous reviews of The Whale and Tar. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Letterboxd and Instagram for all of my latest movie reviews. This has been Kier's Reviews, signing off for now.
Don't forget to like, follow, and obey.